So go 5 and 6 done, 5:46 into the wind, and then 5:26 back. Okay, 12 done. I've decided not to be a wimp. We're doing the hill. Last one.
So welcome back to another training series episode. This is week 11, the penultimate week. And as always, I'm super excited to share 2 workouts with you this week. As the volume is coming down, intensity is also coming down a smidge, but still right up there. And I'm excited to share both of what those workouts are. Shortly, we'll roll into Tuesdays first and then straight into Thursdays afterwards. Also this weekend, and this is a side note because it will be a separate video, but I am hoping to do a 5K TT out on the industrial estate to cap off the training block, but that will be for the next video. We'll see, of course, we have some snow apparently coming, so that may or may not happen. But let's get to the workouts that we were able to do.
So good morning and welcome back to another Alicante half marathon training series. This is week 11 and right now it's 12 days until race day. And we have 2 workouts to go through today, so we're going to get stuck in straight away with this first one. 6 by a mile. That is it, nice and simple. 6 miles worth of work, bringing it down. I'll tell you what though, we have an absolute wicked headwind tailwind situation going on today, even worse than the weekend. Oh boy. And we're going to get stuck straight into this. I will say a massive thanks to COROS, as always, for sponsoring this training series. So grateful to have them on board. I've got to say, I charged this over 2 weeks ago before my 2 60+ mile weeks. It's now Tuesday and I've just had a 10% battery warning, which is absolutely incredible. This thing is brilliant. Using obviously the arm heart rate monitor under here as well. More on that later. Plan for the session. Humongous headwind and humongous tailwind. So the honest truth is what I wanted to do was the first 2 mile reps to be half marathon effort, late 5:30s, mid 5:30s. That'll do out on here. That'll translate to what I want it to be on race day, and then try and cut them down. Reality is actually 1, 3 and 5 going into the headwind are going to be slower than 2, 4 and 6, and that's okay. So the first one will probably be in the 5:40s. After that we'll see if we can bring them down, but there's nothing else to say. Let's get into it and see how we do. Okay, on the drain, this is where we go for the mile rep. 2, 1. There we go, first pair done. 5:43 out as predicted, 5:32 back. Yes, the headwind is really that strong. Well, the headwind tailwind saga continues. 5:44, 5:28. Yes, this is like Boddington 10 all over again, but on my bloody industrial estate. So go 5 and 6 done, 5:46 into the wind, and then 5:26 back. So the outs drop from 5:43 to 5:46, and the backs improve from 5:32 to 5:26. And it's getting worse. It was a tricky one this morning. I always find these ones so tricky to pace. Like heading out, I don't know about you guys, but heading out into the wind, I'm like, what is this effort? Is this half marathon effort? I don't often find, but I might push slightly harder into the wind, even though I'm going slower. Like I felt my arms start to burn a bit with that lactate feeling. I was like, oh, the burn is coming, you need to back off. Yet on the way back, turnover was quicker, running faster, but the effort level was maybe a bit easier. It's always a tricky one, but we can only run in the conditions that we've got, and to be fair, that ended up being as good as it could have been.
So there we go, that first workout was absolutely brutal. That wind was the worst it has been in a very long time. Very glad to get it done. Very hard, as I mentioned in the end there, to kind of gauge efforts. I definitely felt like I worked harder than sort of like half marathon. Obviously the goal there was to work slightly harder than half marathon effort. I definitely feel like in those on reps going down into the wind, I was probably working harder than I should have been. And even so, the paces were slowing down because the wind was picking up. But then as you can see, that translated into quicker reps on the way back. And I want to take this opportunity to say a massive thanks to COROS for sponsoring this week's video. I mentioned it in the beginning, of course. I have been using their Pace Pro and of course the arm heart rate monitor throughout the training block, and I've been capturing all the metrics in the COROS training hub. There are 3 things I want to show you today, which is really exciting as I'm building up a little bit of confidence towards the upcoming races. I've got 3 races on the bounce coming up. Of course, we've got the Gold Race, the Alicante Half Marathon, we've got Bourton 10K the week after that, and then we've got a Newport Half Marathon the week after that. Let me show you these stats. So the first one is my threshold pace and heart rate data. So of course I've been wearing the COROS products now, started with the Pace 3 then the Pace Pro since around October time. So of course I'd love a year's worth of data to collect, but we've got now well over 3 months, which is great. And as you can see here on screen, there has been a bump up in pace. I've been watching this the whole time. It reckoned my threshold pace was around 5:30 per mile. Since we've had those 2 races, the Linda Franks 5 and the Boddington 10, that's now increased to 5:27 per mile, which is great, which basically means that my threshold pace has gone up, but my heart rate obviously is stayed the same, which means I'm running faster, more efficiently. And then my VO2 max. Now, I'm always skeptical with VO2 maxes on watches. I always have been. Of course, they do give us a good bit of data, but of course, I don't think they're going to ever be as accurate as they could be as tested in a lab. But I love to see the rise of this. This has been great to watch. Obviously, post-marathon there, you can see 57, and we rise up to where we are now, which is 60. We've seen a good progression throughout this training block, and I'm really, really happy with that. And finally, I just want to showcase the race predictor, because this has had me hooked for a while now. When I started back again post-marathon, just building up into it, I think my 5k prediction was around 16:20 something. We're now down to 16:06, which is great. A 10k time of 33:06, which makes me feel very confident. Those are the 2 figures I'm looking at. Of course, the half marathon there, 1:12:10. I'm pretty confident we are not going to achieve that in Alicante, but a 1:12 is absolutely on the cards for me this year. It is one of those things that I really want to shoot for. I definitely feel like I'm in that sort of shape now. If I was to hit a nice cold weather, flat and fast half marathon, fingers crossed for that in 3 weeks time ish at Newport. And overall, I've just felt this data to be really valuable post run. As I said, I go out there, I do my runs, I don't look at data when I'm out there. It's great to come back here and analyze everything, and then to be able to sit down now 11 weeks into this training block with 1 week to go into the taper and see all these stats rise. I do feel fit. I know that I'm fitter than I was when I started, and it's great that these metrics back it up. I want to take this opportunity to say a massive thanks to COROS again, and if you guys are interested in COROS products, this deal is only going to be around for another couple of weeks until the training series ends. If you do check out the link in the description below, you will get a free band with your watch purchase. And of course, I can't recommend the arm heart rate monitor enough. I've spoken to so many people who use the chest strap and they feel like it constricts them and they're not a fan. I've not used a chest strap for about 4 or 5 years. I've always used an arm heart rate monitor, and since switching to the COROS one, it has been absolutely spectacular. So if you're interested in either of those or any COROS products, do check out the link below. And once again, a massive thanks to COROS for sponsoring this series.
Right, we'll just push pause here. We'll get the rest of the warm-up done in a second. So here we go, second workout of the week, and we are bringing things down. That's 15 minutes worth of work today in the form of 15 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Love 1 minute on, 1 minute off. And to be honest with you, when I get into taper mode, I just want something short and sharp. This is the first time I have actually changed my plan because I wanted to do something else. Normally, obviously, I write my plans out, and I had basically 3-2-1, 3-2-1 times 2. I love that session as well. It's one of my favourites, but I fancy doing 1 minute on, 1 minute offs. And so although this is 3 minutes more worth of volume, I really want to give these Adios 9, which I'm testing now, a good chance to shine. And I feel like the 1 minute reps are going to do that. Plus it will do me good to continually hit that top sharp end, considering what we did on Tuesday. And the honest truth is I did actually have 20 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off penciled in, but I want to do a 5k TT on Saturday, so I'm going to be a bit cautious today. It's also very frosty, very icy. It was -4 last night, so I'm going to be a bit careful on the trails out here today. And yes, I am out on those buffed out 5-track trails, bit of concrete to start with, and then onto those runnable trails, because obviously Alicante is not flat. I've been saying it all training block, and I need to be practicing on the hill. So although Tuesday's session was out on the concrete, today we are using those undulations. So nothing more to say. I want to get on with this. I want to test these shoes out. They feel incredible in the warm-up. I am loving them already. The fit on them is probably one of the best Adidas fits I've ever tried. Why the heck Adidas can't do fits like this in other shoes, when in terms of the toe box and the length and stuff like that, I've got no idea, but I'm really excited. Let's get on with this one. Here we go. There's a dog walker up ahead, so we're gonna have to go to the side. There we go, 3 done. Feeling good, feeling strong. Couple of uphill now, then we're onto the flat. Right, 7 done, getting close to the turnaround. I'm going to do 8 straight on, spin, 9 back this way, 10 back this way, and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 that way, just to avoid that big hill at the end, because I don't really want that today. Okay, 12 done. I've decided not to be a wimp. We're doing the hill. I didn't turn and go back and turn. I think rep 14 and a bit of 15 will consist of the hill. Last one. Oh, we did it. That last one was brutal. So that ended up going really well. Low 5s, late 4s for all of those reps bar the last one, which was 5:21 I think, which is like up and over that hill. That was half up, half down. Very, very happy. Yeah, that felt really good. Shoes as well. Woo! Love them. I think you've got like the Puma Liberate Nitro, which I'm not sure they make anymore. The Brooks Hyperion 2. I know the Pacer from New Balance has changed, but the original version of that. This one, they're all in that lightweight streak fly. They're all in that lightweight sort of racing training category. And I think this could be one of the best, if not the best, mainly down to the Light Strike Pro Foam. If you're a fan, what I'd say is there's enough in here to get the performance benefits from it, but there's not too much. It's also not very rigid, it's very flexible, so when you're out here on terrain that might be a little bit undulating under the foot, it just works really well. And as for me, and after the session, well, those type of short, sharp sessions, they hurt a lot when you're doing them, but as soon as they're over, you kind of feel like, oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. There's not a long-lasting effect from it, and the legs feel like they've worked. The shoes were great, as I said, but yeah, very, very happy with that. That complements Tuesday very nicely, and yeah, excited now.
So we go, 2 workouts done, a successful week, and we should wrap it up if the 5k TT goes ahead around about 45 miles. The last couple of weeks I've hit 62-ish. That's where I'd have loved to have sat throughout the whole block, to be honest with you, and beyond. But of course, it just never works out that way. However, we have got some great training in. I am super happy, feeling super good, excited for the time trial, and then excited for next week to get out to Spain. And to be honest with you, just get out of this bad weather. So a massive thanks to you guys for watching this week's episode. So grateful to COROS for sponsoring it, and of course, Miles as well. If you're interested in getting 10% off all your nutritional needs, don't forget to use discount code FOD10 over there. That will get you 10% off. Gels, shakes, everything, you name it, you can go and grab it from there. So that's it from me today, guys. If you're interested in seeing how the first 5k TT went back before we started the block, check out this video up here. And if you want to know a bit more about last week's training in the build up to this week, check out this video down here, and I'll see you guys over on one of those.